Welcome to this video presentation, Consistent Coding Style with Sigasi Studio. My name's David Clift and I'm an application specialist for First EDA. First EDA are a value-added distributor of electronic design automation solutions in Northern Europe, specializing in software and hardware solutions for electronics design and verification. The question is, why is coding style important? Well, we want our code to be readable. It has to have good readability. This aids consistency. If we are consistent in our designs, it makes it easier to follow. And if it's easier to follow, it's easier to maintain. So let's see what Sigasi Studio can do to help us. Here we are in Sigasi Studio. As you can see, this is a particularly unformatted piece of code, but the code is valid VHDL. As an engineer, looking at the code, it's particularly hard to read. If your code is badly laid out, messy and cryptic, then others will also assume it's potentially buggy and sloppily written. They may also assume that you've undertaken your design in a similar manner. For example, look at this if statement. It's all on one line. It's particularly unreadable. But let's see what Sigasi Studio can do to help us in the formatting of this code. So we'll select the formatter, and as you can see, the formatter has configured the first line of our if to be multiple statements. It's much easier to read. Let's apply that to the full source file. There, I hope you'll agree, this is much easier to read. The code is nicely indented, we can see the flow, but it could be better. Look, the keywords are a right mix. There are uppercase, lowercase. So let's see what Sigasi Studio can help us with there. If we go to Windows Preferences and select VHDL and Formatting, you can see we've got an option to set the case of our keywords. Currently it's set to ignore, so whatever we type will be maintained. But let's change it to uppercase. And if we rerun the formatter, you'll see now all the keywords have been changed to a consistent case, making it far easier to read. Now, here we've got a case statement. From Sigasi we can see that this entity state is a variable, but it may not be that easy to recognize it as a variable just by looking at the code. So we could use naming conventions to make this clearer, and we can do that with Sigasi Studio. So let's set up a naming convention for variables. Using Windows Preferences, we can select VHDL naming conventions. Here we can define conventions for entity names, configuration names, generic names, and in our case, variable names. These naming conventions are described in Java regular expressions, and we'll set our variable naming convention to be that it finishes in underscore uppercase V, and we'll set the naming convention failure to be a warning. We apply that, and you'll notice that immediately in the problems panel we've got a naming convention violation and that it doesn't match the pattern. Double clicking on this will take us to our failing variable. So let's update this to make it state underscore V so that it matches our naming convention. Well, still getting a warning. It's telling us that it's an unused declaration. Well, that's because we didn't update all the other cases of state, and as you can see from this state it's telling us we haven't declared it, and again in the problems panel it's telling us we've got lots of undeclared declarations for state. So we can fix that quite easily. If we select all the code where we have state, we can do a search and replace. And we can set this up just to work on the selected line, so we're constraining our replacement. So we'll search for state and we'll replace it with state underscore V. And we'll do a replace all, close, and you'll see all the states have been changed underscore V. Save the file and all the problems are updated. So that ends our demonstration of using Sigasi Studio to get consistent coding style and formatting across all our VHDL files of our designs. Let's summarize the main points. Autocode formatting within Sigasi Studio leads automatically to designs that are easier to read and understand. By using uppercase keywords, we're able to add a level of consistency to a design, once again increasing readability and maintainability. We can use Sigasi Studio to enforce naming conventions for our user-defined name, making it again easier to read and maintain those designs. Remember, good coding style leads to better, more understandable designs. Thank you for viewing this video. I hope you found it interesting and informative. If you require further information, please visit our website at www.firsteda.com. Thank you.